Good day to all of you. Today we will be working on the 72nd creation in our lesson series. First, click on the plus mark at the top of the screen and open a new tab. Next, type thunkable.com in the address bar and click the enter button. Now you have entered the Thunkable website. Click the login button at the top corner and log in to your Thunkable account. Now again click on the plus mark at the top corner of the screen. Open another tab and visit the dpcode.lk website. Click on lesson number 274. Click the start project button here. Now you have entered the project. In the previous lesson, we created the first part of Smart Integrated System app. Today we are going to create the second part of this app. I have now finished adding the first part of the app we created in the last lesson to the design. If anyone hasn't seen our 71st lesson, check it out using the thunkable.com website now. From here on, we'll add parts to the same design and improve it a bit more. See, in the previous lessons, we designed the main screen and screen water supply as needed and created the code for that. In addition to that, I have designed the third screen or the screen garage in this section. First, let's see how screen garage is designed. We give a dark blue color as the background color for the screen garage. Next, a column is added to the screen. Two labels have been added in this column. Garage was given as the text of the first label. We selected white color as the font color and we set the size as 35. We give the text of the next label as tap on the garage door. Okay. Next, a canvas has been added below this column. We have given BDF58D as the code for the background color of the canvas stage. Also, dark blue color was given for the frame color. Next, let's see how sprite types and sprites have been created. First, we have sprite type car park display. We added two images as display1.png and display2.png in this sprite type. There is a sprite park display under that. Next, there is a sprite type garage. For this too, as before, two images were added as garage1.png and garage2.png. There is a sprite garage under sprite type garage. Okay, now we have designed the canvas. Next, I have added a button called button next below the canvas. I removed the text in this button and gave next.png image as the background image. Since this button needs to be hidden at the start of the game, visible is set to false. Now let's create the code for screen garage. Before that, let's see what happens here. The screen garage should be displayed on the main screen when the garage button is clicked. Next, let's click on screen garage and see if the car is parked in the garage. A lit bulb needs to be displayed as the sprite park display. Also, if there is no car in the garage, an unlit bulb should be displayed as sprite park display. Depending on whether the car is parked or not, the sprite display and sprite garage images need to change. Okay, so let's create the code. First, click on the main screen and go to the blocks tab. Let's create the code to display the screen garage when button garage is clicked. After clicking the button garage, I will drag the when button garage click code block here. Now let's drag the navigate to code block under control into the when button garage click code block. Click on the arrow in front of the screen name and select screen garage. Also at this point, we only need one variable to be assigned to determine whether the car is in the park or not. For that, let's use the input value 1 variable. I will drag the setup variable input value 1 to code block under variables above the navigate to screen garage code block. Let's connect a code block with 0 from under man. Okay, next I will go to the screen garage. First, I will create a variable called breakLoop2 here. For that, let's drag the initialize app variable name to code block under variables like this. Give the name of the variable as breakLoop2. Let's assign the value of this variable as false at the beginning. I am attaching a false code block from under logic. Now, we have to create the codes for when the car enters and exits the garage. Let's assume that the car moves in or out when we click on the sprite garage here. At the beginning, the car is not in the garage. Therefore, the unlit bulb should be displayed for sprite park display. At this point, the value of the input value 1 variable is 0. Now, if we click on the garage, we can consider that the car will enter the garage. Therefore, the images provided for sprite garage and sprite park display need to be changed. Also, at this point, the value of the input value 1 variable needs to be 1. I will drag the when sprite type car park display is click code block under events in the canvas blocks to this position. Click on this arrow and change the sprite type to sprite type garage. Again, I will drag an if code block under control into the when sprite type garage is click code block. Let's check if the car is not parked at this point. As a condition here, I will drag a code block with the equal sign under logic. Connect app variable input value 1 code block in variables to the left side of the equal sign and connect a code block with 0 under math to the right side. Okay, if the value of the input value 1 variable is equal to 0, the car is not parked in the garage. When the car is not parked in the garage and when you click on the garage, the car needs to come back into the garage. That means the value of the input value 1 variable needs to be 1. Let's drag the set app variable input value 1 code block here. The code block with 0 under math is connected and the value is changed to 1. Okay, now we have created the code for the instance where the car is not in the garage. Next is to create the code for when the car is in the garage. Before that, this if code block needs to be amended as if else if. For that, let's click the settings icon in front of if. Now, I will drag an else if code block on the left side of this box to the right side like this. Okay. Now let's click the settings icon again and remove this box. Next, we need to check whether the car is in the garage. In this case, the value of the input value 1 variable needs to be 1. I will drag a code block with the equal sign under logic as the condition here. Connect an app variable input value 1 code block in variables to the left side of the equal sign and connect a code block with 0 under math to the right side. Let's change the value to 1 here. Okay. When the car is parked in the garage and when you click on the garage, the car needs to go out of the garage again. That means the value of the input value 1 variable needs to become 0. Let's drag the setup variable input value 1 code block here. Add a code block with 0 under math for the value. Okay. Now we have created codes for instances where the car is in the garage and not. Now, this way, if the value of the input value 1 variable is 1, we need to provide an image of a car in the garage for the sprite garage and an image of a lit bulb for the sprite park display. If not, that means if the value of input value 1 variable is 0, we need to provide an image of an empty garage for sprite garage and an image of an unlit bulb for sprite park display. Let's create the code for this now. I will drag a when canvas 2 loads code block from under events in the canvas blocks. Now, click Ctrl and drag a forever code block into the when canvas 2 loads code block. Click Ctrl again and drag an if else code block into the forever code block. Let's connect the not code block under logic for the condition here. Connect a code block with equal sign under logic to this not code block. We will connect an app variable input value 1 code block under variables to the left of the equal sign and connect the code block with 0 under map to the right side. Okay, now look at the code we have created. We have used the forever code block when the canvas was loaded. We have not used this before. The forever code block will do the same thing, which is repeating the same thing. But the number of repeats here is not certain. It can be 10, 20 or more times. Here we can use the forever code block in cases where we don't know exactly but need to repeat something several times. Okay, after that, we have checked a condition called not app variable input value 1 equals 0. We have created this condition in a slightly different way. The app variable input value 1 equals 0 condition has been connected again with a not operation. We have checked here whether the value of input value 1 variable is not equal to 0. In other words, whether the value of the input value variable is equal to 1. If this condition is true, we need to provide an image of a garage with a car for the sprite garage and an image of a lit bulb for the sprite park display. Currently, we have added these images as the second image in the image list of these two sprite types. Now we need to change the image number. I will drag the set sprite park display image number to one code block from under looks in the canvas blocks. Let's change the image number to 2. Again, we need to provide an image for sprite garage. I will duplicate this code block for that. Let's drag the duplicated code block below the set sprite park display image number to one code block. Click on the arrow in front of sprite park display in this duplicated code block and change the sprite to sprite garage. Now the car is in the garage. We can make the button next visible since we hit these buttons while designing the app. After clicking the button next, drag the set button next visible to code block. Below set sprite garage image number to 2 code block. Click on this arrow and select true. Okay, next is to complete the else part of this if code block. That means the instance where the car is not in the garage. At this time, the bulb must be off and an image without a car in the garage must be displayed. We can duplicate both the previously created code blocks for this purpose. First, I duplicate the set sprite park display code block like this. Let's drag the duplicated code block into the else section. Again, duplicate the set sprite garage code block and drag it down. Okay, now we need to change the image number of these duplicated code blocks to 1. Let's remove 2 in these two code blocks and type 1. At what point will this forever loop stop? You may remember that we first created a variable called break loop 2. When the value of this break loop variable becomes true, the forever loop should stop. Let's prepare the code for this. I will drag an if code block under control below this if else code block like this. Look carefully. We drag this if code block into the forever code block. Here we connect a code block with the equal sign from under logic for the condition. To the left of the equal sign, click on variables and connect an app variable break loop to code block. There is still a little more to do. When we click button next, the value of the break loop 2 variable needs to become true. I'm going to drag a when button next click code block from under button next to this position. Let's drag a set app variable input value 1 to code block in variables into the when button next click code block. By clicking on this arrow, change the name of the variable to app variable break loop 2. Now let's connect a true code block from under logic like this. Okay, after a few moments, change the value of the break loop 2 variable to false and display the main screen. Again, I drag a wait 1 seconds code block from under control below the set app variable break loop 2 to true code block. Again, I drag a wait 1 seconds code block from under control below the set app variable break loop 2 to true below the code block. Let's change the time here to 0.2 seconds. Next, right click on the set app variable break loop 2 to true code block that we created earlier and duplicate this code block. Drag the duplicated code block down like this. Click on the arrow in front of true and give the value of the variable as false. Next, since the main screen needs to be displayed, I drag the navigate to main screen code block from under control like this. Okay, now we have finished creating the main screen, main water supply screen and garage screen in the Smart Integrated System app. Again, go to the main screen and click the live test button to see if the garage screen is working properly. WhatsApp your design to me on the phone number note 7681252244. Tell your friends about the design. Check out this app to send to me as well as to your friends. And one more thing, join the DP Coding School Telegram group. Try to be the DP Code Champ Best of the Week every week. Stay connected with us. Also, another thing, join our DP Coding Club. And now you can start a DP Coding Club in your school. We are ready to give all the guidance for that. If you are interested in starting DP Coding Clubs in any school that has computer labs, please send a request through the principal to the email address info@dpcc.lk. Okay, let's meet again with another interesting lesson through DP Coding School. Have a good day.